For the second time, EU Talk is going out of Makati, and today I'm pleased to be joined by the lead actor of Godot, our featured play in Teatro Europa Festival here in Bacolod City. My guest is Archel Barayoga, a political science major from the University of Salle. Archel has also been an active member of the Maskara theater ensemble in the university. Thank you for coming to this Bacolod edition of EU Talk. Archel, nice to have you here. Let's start with, where did you grow up?
I grew up in a very far place here. It's called Pulupandan, but I'm currently living here in Bacolod City. From where I grew up, it's kind of like a roller coaster ride from where I lived in back in like more than 10 years ago to here, to where I took all of my strengths and inspirations and why I'm currently taking the artistic path.
Is it in Negros Occidental?
Yes, here in Negros Occidental.
And by saying that you grew up with a family that were interested in the arts,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Are any of your family members actually artists, or are you the only one?
I could say maybe I'm the only one, but back then my father used to have those artistic inclinations. My mother had those artistic inclinations. He used to join, contests, dances and stuff. She also told me she attended some workshops, some trainings on it. But later on in life, she didn't pursue it. So maybe
you're living the dream of your family, of your parents.
Yeah, you can say that. One time I told my father, when he noticed the work that I do right now, I told him I wanted to be a director. For some reason, he remembered that words. He used to say, once you make a movie in the future, can you put me just in the extra, stroking some animals right there? And then I said, yes, okay, I'm good with that,
Okay. We will come back to the play that you are currently performing, but did your parents watch you performing?
They did watch some plays in the past, but currently right now they can't watch it because they have something to do. Apparently they're not here in the country, but I did tell them.
So they are happy for you?
Yes.
And proud, I suppose.
Yeah, probably you can say that.
And yet you are at the moment a student here at the University of Saint-La-Salle, and you're studying political science. Why is that? What was the drive for this?
So I think the most straightforward answer would be, I want to be a lawyer.
Correct.
I wanted to be a lawyer because I've been influenced by my teachers and peers. But since my study here in the university about political science, it's not just about studying the laws. It's also about studying how you can make better communities here, better people, better country. Since I'm also taking that artistic path, I could really say that it's, it intertwines at some point. You just don't act in theater. People who are not into theater would just say, you're just acting, you're just crying on stage. But apparently you do cry on stage, you do laugh on stage, but it's the training that you have, and you can just use that training in making better communities, development with those kinds of people. It has been shown through many years here in the country and maybe just different parts of the world. Those development trainings by theater artists, they do make better artistic expressions with the community. We have a lot of community theaters in the Philippines. We do have a community theater here in Bacolod. Some of them are based on developing artistic expressions. That's a very good thing to be happening here in the Philippines, or maybe here in Bacolod. So I want to continue that.
Let me try to understand exactly what you just said. Through performance, you think you are making a change in the society, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And also by learning how to perform, you are a better actor, if I might say, in the society.
Yes, sir.
Is that what you are pursuing, and why you combine your two passion for political science and theater?
Yes, actually, if I want to go on more scholarly, there's this theory where society is just actors and then influencing all of their actions. But if I may quote from the greatest playwright that we ever know, William Shakespeare, all the world's a stage and we are merely players. You must make a good story out of it. Since you are living here in the society with other people, you might try as well to make a better story out of them. Good stories make the best out of them. Well, there's always conflicts. It makes them who they are, but the conflicts must not only alone destroy themselves. You must teach them that conflicts and the destruction is not something that they should be disheartened of. it's something that they should process because, there's this word catharsis.
I know that you have played this play already, performed it in live audience. How does it feel to be in front of live audience? How do you yourself feel about it?
It's so good because for 2 years or 2.5 years, we have been performing on screen, and it's very different acting in front of a screen. The real theater, critics would say, is facing the audience. Facing the screen is not something that is conducive. But right now, thank God that we are recovering from this problem that we have, and I'm seeing real people and real audiences on stage. And you could really feel, once you're an actor with the real audiences, you could really feel, though, if they laugh, you could really feel it in the moment. It's like real people, it's like real magic, real moving people on stage.
Right.
So it's really the magic that you want to capture.
This is also true of the roles that we play in our lives. It's a completely different thing to interact like we do now, live.
Yes.
I realized that very quickly, and in my profession, diplomacy, nothing like engaging directly with people. And this is actually why they pay good money to send people around the world, not to do Zoom conferences, right, but to interact with real people. I guess what you say for acting can be generalized to a number of things that we play in life as well.
Yes.
We play differently when we are live,
Yes, exactly.
rather than recorded. Let me ask you, are you prepared for your acting?
Yeah.
Apart from learning your lines, which obviously is a must.
We prepared for more than 2 months. It's a really beautiful play. It really captures the absurdity that the life that we have right now, the society that we have right now, and the feelings that we have right now, especially that we're recovering here in this pandemic that we have. And of course, the characters are funny, wacky, but it's just a facade at some point, maybe, that the real problems that they had. This is a work by a Nobel Prize winner and very renowned playwright. I think to do justice on it, really need to prepare for it, and we did.
Which is your character in the play?
I'm playing Vladimir on
Vladi.
the Godot.
So you are the main character.
One of the main, actually.
Yes. Do you know when this play was created?
After the World War II.
1953.
Yeah.
Almost 70 years ago. And what you just said is that it fits so well with the society in which we are right now.
Yes, that's actually very beautiful.
How can you explain?
The play was made after World War II, after all the destruction and after all of this, the melancholy that we experienced by the war and economic recession. And Samuel Beckett really did capture the absurdity of life, that it is timeless, You could say that once you play Waiting for Godot, you could say that it has to be after the war. But you could also say that since it's the absurdity of life that it captures the experiences after the war, but the war can be subjective. It can be a different kinds of war that you experience, maybe on the conflict on the inside, or maybe the conflict with society, the conflict with whatever there is. There's a lot of war. Or maybe you could say this time, we're just waiting.
The end of the pandemic?
Yeah, end of the pandemic, in which we are nearing, but I don't know, it's returning.
We don't know.
Just like the play itself.
And this is something also very interesting with Samuel Beckett, who is one of my favorite author. The play that you're playing is introduced by the French playwright Samuel Beckett, who actually is Irish.
Yes, he is.
But he wrote that play in French, which is also something that I find interesting in the context of the Philippines, where you have multiple languages. Samuel Beckett actually wrote some of his stuff in French first, and then he wrote them in English. And when you listen to the two versions, they're completely different.
Yes, they are. It's a different context with two languages. I think it also goes with the personal life of Samuel Beckett once he is in Ireland, and then he went to France. Apparently, when the play first came in, it astounded a lot of people because it's very different from the place that they had back then. Little did they know it's that different kind of play is going to shake a lot of theater practices around the world for more than 50 years, 70 years.
70 years now. And one of the things that is also interesting in the bio of Samuel Beckett is that he was in the resistance in the
he
war.
is.
So I think some of that is also reflected, I don't know where, in this theater of the absurd, his own biographical elements in the play. I don't want you to overanalyze, because after all, your role is not that. Your role is to render the word. And if I remember correctly, also, there are only male characters. Are there any women playing in the...
Yes, sir. Since it's reimagined, we did include...
Exactly, that's where I wanted to go. So in your rendition, there are female characters, is that correct?
Yes, they're female characters.
So what is the distribution? How many actors?
We opted for something, gender fluidity with the characters. Apparently, it worked, you know. The absurdity that we live in life is something that it spans across genders. We also wait for something, we also wait for someone.
And also because now, basically, this very important work in European literature is now in the public domain.
Yeah.
So it's subject to all kinds of reinterpretation, which may not have been approved at the time by Samuel Beckett, but it's also the freedom of the artist to give a reimagination, as you said,
yes.
or as the director said.
I'm also astounded, sir, by the influence by Godot. It has been used with many editorial cartoons. I remember attending one of the diplomatic conferences back then. One of the speakers actually said, if we wait for peace, it's like we wait for Godot to come.
Right. Yes, I think it's a measure of success in literature, like Catch-22.
Catch-22.
Or waiting for Godot. There are many expressions in the common language that now belongs to common language that were once invented by one of the geniuses of our time. What does performing this act give you in terms of understanding, if anything, of the European culture?
I grasp on the anguish and the sadness that the European people has experienced back then after the World War. It's something that is so unacceptable for people to feel like that, the war that we have right now. I think that Samuel Beckett has captured the absurdity of waiting for it to end. If I'm going to quote from the philosopher Nietzsche, when he said that God is dead, but it's not literally that God is dead, it's just that it's dead because of the morals that we try to kill. We're trying to kill the culture that the Europeans have flourished for so many years, the beautiful culture that they have flourished for so many years because of the conflicts that they had. And it's really sad for people to do it like that when we could just, get on together. But maybe that's naivete, but we could still get along, like apparently with some of the people, and sing songs and tell poems or eat together. After all, we have many countries, we have many states, but apparently we're a human race,
So the only thing that left to be said by me is break a leg.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.